Hi guys, I was at my local farmer's market this weekend, and when I saw these pumpkins, I knew I wanted to roast them to go with the spinach stew that I've been craving for the last couple of weeks. My husband is a traditionalist, and so he wanted his with boiled plantains the way we normally make them at home. I gotten this little pumpkin here, and I did that because it's easier to cut into a smaller pumpkin than a big one. And this one is really tough. Pumpkins are always difficult to cut into, and this one, as you can see, wanted to fight me. So I'm going to use my kitchen scissors to snip at each end to release some of the membranes and set the seeds aside. I'm going to use the seeds to make a different recipe, so please look out for that. It'll be coming in the very near future. Once I've cored out my pumpkin, I'm going to go ahead and just slice them. You can see that I made an attempt to peel the pumpkin, but that didn't go over too well, so I decided to give up on that project. If you're brave enough, please go ahead and peel it before you roast it. So I'm going to drizzle it with some olive oil and add a little bit of salt to it, toss it all together, and throw it into a 380-degree oven for about 40 minutes or so, or until it's fork tender. When it comes out, I'm going to use the knife to just cut off the peel, and it's so easy. Now I have a green plantain here. I'm going to go ahead and cut each edge, and then make a shallow slit down the back, and then go ahead and peel the skin off with either my fingers or with a knife. When you're done, use the back of your knife to just clean off some of the membranes on the plantains, and then throw it into a pot, wash it, and cook it for about 20 minutes. You can use a yellow plantain as well. Here I have a tilapia, one whole tilapia. I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces and just lightly rub it with some salt. You don't want to add too much salt to this for this recipe. Now I have koobi. This is a tilapia that has been packed with salt and then left to marinate in it for several weeks or so, and then it's left out in the sun for an additional number of weeks. And this is very popular in Ghanaian cuisine. We use this to season our foods, and sometimes we use it as a standalone protein. So it's really affordable and plentiful in Ghana. Now, we'll normally soak it in water for a long time to remove some of the salt from it, but I didn't have the time to do that. So what I did was I boiled it in some water. It was just a shallow kind of a light boil. And I did this for about 10 minutes or so. And then I deboned it and cut it into little pieces. So here I'm adding about 1 cup of red palm oil to my saucepan, and once it melts, I'm adding half of a medium onion that's been sliced, and I'm going to saute that for about maybe 8 minutes or so until it's tender. You don't want it to be too tender, but about 8 minutes of time I think is enough. Next, I'm adding some tomato sauce. Some people like to add tomato paste to this, but I find that it's a little too sweet for my liking, so I prefer the tomato sauce. This is called dawadawa, and those are locust beans. They add a nice savory taste to our sauces. So instead of adding bouillon cubes or Maggi cubes, this will replace that nice savory taste without the additional MSG. So next I've added some cubed tomatoes, about 6 Roma tomatoes, and then I've put some hot pepper powder and some salt and curry powder to the tomatoes. And I'm just going to mix everything together and let it sit for about 10 minutes or so. Just let it cook until some of the oil comes to surface, and then you're going to add your tilapia to that. And what I like to do is to bury my tilapia in the hot stew. That way it'll cook from both sides. Now I'll let the fish sit for about 10 minutes on each side, and then I will flip it. And then next I'm adding the koobi to this, and I'm just going to mix that all in here. Some people like to leave their koobi whole after they've taken out the salt, but I'm mixing it in here. This is how I like it. So when you first smell koobi, you're going to say, oh my goodness, this thing smells. But let me tell you, koobi is not half as bad as its sister, lonshla. because that is from a whole different planet. It's been fermented and salted, and that we only use for seasoning, and you can only use a little bit at a time. So for this here, I have some spinach that's been chopped. That's just Trader Joe's organic spinach. And I'm going to add it to my stew once it's cooked. Now, you know it's cooked when you make a part in the sauce and only oil comes between the part, not water from the sauce. That way you know you've evaporated the water out of the stew and you're ready to go. So to that, I'm going to add my chopped spinach, and I've squeezed out most of the water from the spinach already because I don't want it sitting here for a long time to cook and evaporate that water out. So if you are wiser than I am, you would have taken your fish out of the sauce before you mixed in the spinach, but I'm a glutton for punishment. So I had to maneuver the spinach all around the fish, and it was ridiculous. So anyway, I did manage to finish it. And it is so delicious. It was so delicious because it's all gone now. But I really hope that you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. If you have, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.